Hey folks, this is Mr. Chicken, and today I'm going to be showing you how I make paper mache monster masks. So I've done a couple of these. I did a Frankenstein and a Wolfman, and I thought it would be fun to show you the process as I make a vampire mask. Now, it's always good to work from some reference pictures, so I'm using this Dawn Post mask of Bela Lugosi's Dracula as my inspiration. Now, you're also going to want a head to sculpt on. I'm using my Life Cast, but you could use a foam head if that's all you have. And then we're also going to need some clay. I'm using a very soft oil-based clay that's just scrap that's left over from some other projects. And I do recommend an oil-based because you don't have to worry about it drying out. But if you wanted to do it in a water-based sculpting clay like wet clay, that would be a great choice. So all you're gonna do is just start laying on little bits of clay and trying to make your face. Now you can see I'm using Lugosi as reference, but I'm not really trying to do uh, an actual portrait of him. I'm just borrowing some features that I think make for a cool vampire character. Now, one thing to keep in mind while you're sculpting is that all the detail that you put in there is going to get covered up by a few layers of material on top of this. So you kind of want to go really extreme. So when you're done sculpting, I want to seal that with some petroleum jelly, and that's going to help the mask that we're going to build up right on top of this. It's going to help that release. Now, what are we going to cover that with? Well, today I'm going to be using plaster bandages, which you just dip in the water and smear on there. I'm doing 2 layers now. I'm doing this because it's really fast and really easy, and you can make it conform really well to the shape of the face. But in the past, I've done newspaper, paper mache, and I've done another time, I just used a couple layers of paper towels in paint, which is what the later layers of the mask are going to be. So I like how the plaster bandage turned out, but if you just want to do paper mache, then go for it because it works too. So as you're applying the 2 layers of the plaster bandage, you want to try as hard as you can to keep that really smooth and worked into all the shapes of your mask because this is now going to become the actual base that your mask is built on. So whatever you can preserve of the detail is going to help you. So paper towels in latex paint is what we're going to be doing. This is a thing that I seem to do a lot, but it's because it works really well. So I've just got some mist-tinted paint from the hardware store here. I just work it into a sheet of paper towel and then apply that to the head and try to make it sort of wrinkle in the ways that the face should be wrinkling. So you can see I've got a nice picture for reference of what the face is actually going to do. And one of the things to try to do here is to have different levels of wrinkliness on different parts of the face. So like the nose, doesn't get the heavy wrinkles that that the forehead does. So, keeping some contrast at this stage in your texture is going to help you with the final results. So go ahead and work those wrinkles into place how you like them. You can finesse them as you go. And when that's dry, which takes a day in the hot sun, then you can pop that off. And hopefully it will work right up. And now there you have your mask shell and the original sculpt that you did it on. And now you're going to want to go along and clean up the eyes and the nostril holes, and even give it a nice trim along the edges, so that you got a nice looking clean shapes. So, painting time. What I like to do is kind of start with a middle color, so that's this blue, and then I'm going right in with a darker purple, not quite black color, to start calling out some of the shadows. And then right on top of that, when that dries a bit, as I'm going to start dry brushing, and what I'm doing here is I've taken that original blue color that I mixed, and I just added a little bit of white and a little bit of yellow. And I'm dry brushing over a little bit of everything at first, and then as I go progressively in layers, lighter and lighter with my color, then I'm going to start being more specific about which parts I really want those highlights to be on. So like the top um, of the ears here, the brow. Really, if you kind of think about the bone structure, that's really where we want to concentrate our highlights on. And then you can go ahead and do the detail. So I did the lip there, and now I'm going back in with sort of a purpley color that I'm accenting what I want the shadows to be, and tweaking the highlights too. So now I'm going to seal it with polycrylic, which is sort of a construction grade version of a satin acrylic medium, which is a great way to seal this and give it a nice finish, and it'll also help the colors to pop a little bit. So just brushing a coat over the top. And then what I want to do is attach an elastic strap to hold it onto my head. So I've held it up to my head and figured out where that should go. And now I'm using this hole punch to punch a hole and then thread in a nice little piece of elastic. And now I've cut out some eyebrows that I'm going to be sticking on there. These are made out of fur fabric. And just hot glue works great for this kind of little business. I've already got a pattern that I made to make a hair sort of hood for the back of the mask. So I'm going to be using that to make a black fur fabric that'll represent the vampire's hair. And I'm also putting a Velcro tab in the back so it's easy to get in and out. And you can see I've also put in little foam pads to seat it in the right spot on my face. And then I'm patterning and gluing down the hairline. Now I realized at this point that I really needed fangs, so I mixed up a little plumber's epoxy, which is a great little thing for stuff like this because it's easy to work with and it sets up really fast. And I just needed that and then sculpted those right on top of the mask. And then you can just paint and put a little gloss on those teeth. And that's pretty much where we're going to stop. So congratulations, you've just made yourself a little one-off monster mask out of paper mache. So please play around with these techniques. I'd really like to see you make your own and send me pictures of what you make. Because the message here is really that you can do quite a lot with just simple materials, um, and have fun with it. So if you've enjoyed this, I hope you'll check out my site, chickenprops.com, where you can find not only more how-to videos, but some really cool special Halloween illusions and props that can help make your haunt the coolest on the block. So, thanks for watching.